Hey guys, I was gonna say I didn't want to do this video, but now I'm doing this video. I feel like half of YouTube videos start like that. But it's true. It's why I haven't talked about this, even though it happened just like a week ago or something, maybe a little longer. A lot of you asked me to do a thing. I did comment about it, on Facebook. For those of you who don't know, I'm talking about, Durianrider Harley and his accusations, against à-bas-le-ciel, Eisel? I'm not sure. Eisel Mazard. He has a good breakdown of just the entire conversation between them on Facebook. I'll link that in the description, so I don't really want to go over all of that stuff. But basically, Harley said some terrible things, and with no evidence whatsoever, and then encouraged his followers to do illegal things, or I guess confront him, find out where he lived, and but keep it relatively nonviolent, as he says. Yeah, that's basically it. And like I said, I didn't really see the point because, I mean, the majority of you watching my stuff, you probably already know about this. You already agree with anything I would say about it anyway. You probably aren't fans of Harley, or Freelee and their channel, so it seemed like just preaching to the choir, which I don't really see the point. Or I guess, to reach them or something, like my video would convince Harley that he's wrong or something. I doubt that's gonna happen. He said some pretty terrible things about me. Freelee has as well. I'm a shill and I'm a fake vegan and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I didn't really see the point. And, but then, well, one of the things that made me change my mind, I received a comment on my recent video on pet ownership from someone who said basically they were happy that I was staying out of the drama, pretty obviously, referring to this and just posting content. And also Happy Healthy Vegans video, again, calling this drama. And a lot of people calling this drama. And I get it to some degree, but it's not, this isn't like someone broke up with someone, let's gossip about it. Like, this is actually something really serious and something that I think has serious implications and brings up some serious questions and ethical issues. I think it's something that this should be talked about, and a lot of people are talking about it. But yeah, so I guess I wanted to approach it from that angle, and obviously like an advocacy angle, which I try to do with a lot of my videos. And I'm keeping this more of a vlog style in honor of Eisel, since he tends to do that. I don't know how well I'm doing, probably not very well, but we're gonna stick with this. I do have some notes though, which you'll see me looking down at, just some bullet point stuff. Oh, the first thing I do want to comment on is Harley's apology video. I did see that today. Apology video where he apologizes, but then goes on to continue to criticize Eisel, continue to call him a shill, really continue to lie. He says things that talks about things that Eisel promotes on his channel that he doesn't promote. Continues to paint him in a really negative light. Again, criticizes the way he looks, because Harley wouldn't be Harley if he didn't criticize someone's weight or the way they look. He can't help himself. So it's it's kind of akin to, like, when people say, I'm not a racist, but, and then they say something totally racist. It's kind of like that. Like, I'm gonna apologize, but really, guys, I mean, okay, what I did was, like, maybe kind of wrong, but seriously, this guy, I mean, he's, like, highly suspicious, as Harley says. So he's still, it's not an apology. It's really terrible. But to be fair, Eisel kind of did do the same thing in a video that he put out recently that I just watched, actually, like an hour before filming this. Apology that he did for Freelee. Harley was saying that he needed to apologize. He had hurt her feelings or something. So he did. He made a video just saying he apologized. And it's funny because he starts the video saying, I hate when people say I apologize, but, and he's like, that's really terrible. But he ends up kind of doing that. So, yeah, I think it's kind of human nature, right? We hate to think of ourselves as wrong, and we have to, whether we do it verbally or not, I think whenever we apologize, at least within themselves, there's always like that, well, I was really tired when I did that thing, right? We always kind of try to, and Harley does that in his video too. He talks about how he's been burning the candle at both ends and he's been really tired lately, staying up too late. I think it's kind of, I don't want to completely paint him in a negative light in that sense, because I think a lot of us do that without even realizing we're doing it. I don't think Eisel even realized he did it. I don't think he would have put the video up if he realized that he did what he said he wasn't going to do. So anyway, kind of getting off track there, but I thought that was a little funny. So yeah, apology, not really apology video. What else did I want to say? Oh, the drama thing. I can see why it's positioned that way, because we are talking about individuals and individual actions that don't necessarily concern veganism, but when we're talking about at least one very high-profile YouTuber, and Eisel has certainly been gaining a lot of people in the past just few months or so. He puts out so much content, and he's getting a lot of followers and stuff, which is cool. So, people who are well-known within the vegan world, I think it does concern veganism. So just some of the issues that I think this whole thing raises. One of it is just idolizing people in general. I think it's another thing, kind of a human nature thing. It's kind of hard to avoid, but reading watching Harley's video and then reading some of the comments, and people are just like, I knew you were in the right, kind of thing. And it's like, oh, it's a little creepy. How do we, I say we, I have a channel, I'm getting close to 100,000 subscribers now, which is pretty crazy. I think just as like public figures, people whose channels are them, right? Like I pretty much am my channel, Durianrider is his, Freelee is hers. Like how do we kind of avoid that fandom type thing? For me, personally, that's a big issue for me, because I think when you become a real fan of someone, you may be less likely to think critically with regard to things that they say. You may just take it as gospel, particularly for, myself, especially Freelee and Durianrider. It seems like anyway, their demographic is very young, young adults, young 20s, teenagers, people who are more susceptible to that. Even my demographic, I think, is mostly 18 to 24, something like that. I think that's an interesting question. I don't have a complete answer for. I think there are ways that we can avoid that. Like I have an issue with referring to, even saying followers is kind of, I don't like it so much. I prefer viewers. Not referring to our fans as things. Like, you're never going to hear me say the unnatural vegan army. It's one of the reasons I don't even have like t-shirts or anything. It's I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me. Maybe one day I'll have some sort of, if I come up with something really funny and that I like, that I don't think encourages that too much. But just kind of encouraging that group think, like we are one type thing. And that's something that I guess Freelee and Harley don't really agree with me on, because they tend to do that. They definitely tend to isolate themselves, I think, and their fans, and kind of, well, even, oh God, a perfect example, Freelee's recent video message to other vegans, as she says, and starts the video like, if you criticize vegans, I don't really think you're a real vegan, because why would real vegans criticize other vegans? And then goes on to just completely misrepresent the reasons why certain vegans like myself would criticize certain vegans or things that they say or do, like Freelee. I think that's a really good example of kind of creating this us versus them type of mentality, and creating this kind of fandom type thing. So I don't really have a clear answer, but I think staying away from that as much as possible, admitting when you've been wrong, which I try to do, and actually apologizing for things, which I try to do, I think is really important, just to always show that like we are fallible. I think those are ways that we can avoid that as much as possible. So that's just something I wanted to mention. Another thing is, one of the reasons I think I realized why I didn't want to do this, because I wasn't really shocked about what happened. It's almost like it's just Harley being Harley. Like this is just what Durianrider does. This is just what he's done for years now. He's been lying about stuff. He's been taking criticism really, really poorly from people. He's been calling people fake vegans who don't agree with them. He's been accusing people who follow Raw till 4 and don't get the amazing results is like, well, you weren't doing it right, or, maybe you weren't even vegan, you were sneaking food on the side, and Freelee's done this too. I know of at least 2 times she's called me a shill and, for meat and dairy or something and not really a vegan. They both have done this for years now. They've both taken criticism really poorly. They both lied. They both slandered. So it's really sad. It's not even something I realized I was doing, and maybe some of you feel the same. It's like, yep, that's what he does. That brings up whole other issues. Someone who is so well known within the vegan community and tied to someone who is even more well known, Freelee, and endorsed by her in a very real way, who constantly lies. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. That's an issue. I guess the next thing kind of leading into that is, how do we define people in general in terms of bad and good? I've talked about this in various ways and small ways on this channel. I think I even did recently, just briefly in the one janitor response video, and I did on Facebook. When I commented on this on Facebook, I said this is the second time I've ever done this on here. The first time being regarding Doug Graham, commenting on someone's character instead of just, here's something that someone said, this is why it's wrong. And, I said about Doug Graham, essentially, that he's a bad person. And you can go back, I don't know how you find things on Facebook. It's just so terrible. You can't search that thing. But, regarding the whole his fasting retreat, and I stand by that. I think he's a bad person. And I basically said that about Harley, that his actions, his continual lies, I think he's a bad person. And, I think you can disagree with me on that. I know people can bring up his mental illnesses, whether he has those or not. I'm not really sure. He's lied about having Crohn's disease before, and he seems to parade around having, schizophrenia or something like that. Who knows if he was actually diagnosed? I really don't know. I personally don't really care. But the point is, I think that's an interesting discussion that we can have. It's a lot easier to talk about actions and labeling them good or bad or neutral or whatever, and that's why I tend to stick to that, because it's not always easy. Obviously, there are more nuanced situations. Obviously, the pet ownership, talking about breeding pets in a world when there are no unwanted pets. It's a it's a little more nuanced situation. Yeah, it's a lot harder when you're talking about people. How do you weigh all those things? I think there are obviously extreme examples when we can, like an Adolf Hitler, where we can all say yeah, not so good, right? But in Harley's case, I don't know. I mean, to me, I'm all for second chances. But at what point, where do we draw the line? At what point is enough enough? At what point is enough? There we go. I got it. I think I kind of brought that up in the misanthropy video, responding to some of the things that Gary Orofsky had said. At what point do we say, wow, maybe we want to distance ourselves from this person? I don't know. It's a harder thing to gauge, I think. And it's different. Are you looking at it personally, just for you personally? Like, okay, I'm not going to watch this person's videos anymore. I'm not going to support this person. I'm not going to go to their fruit festival or something like that. And then there's the larger scale, obviously. Okay, are they really contributing to veganism in a way that I think is positive, or at least mostly positive? So there's kind of 2 ways to go about that. And I've talked about that, of course, extensively on this channel with regard to, mostly with regard to their diet and their approach to certain things, and they're alienating. I mean, obviously the pro-sterilization, anti-child kind of stuff, and how alienating they are with a lot of their views and their diet and stuff like that, and how, based on what we know about human psychology, is probably not the best approach. I guess the final thing, can vegans just get away with anything? Do some of us not care about this because they're vegan? Does it kind of soften the blow when they lie or slander or whatever else, or take criticism really, really poorly when they're adult human beings in their 30s? Do we kind of push it under the rug, some of us, because they are vegan? I don't know. I think some people possibly. And I guess that now I'll just lead into a section for the fans of Freelee and Durianrider, because yes, I know the majority of you watching probably are not, but I also get a lot of people watching who are not subscribers and who are not fans of me. That's totally cool. And you may be fans of their stuff. And I know I am lumping Freelee. Okay, I had to burp and I needed water. I know I'm lumping, Freelee and Harley together in this, and, Freelee had nothing to do with this, Eisel and Harley thing. But again, she does lie and support Harley in various ways. So I'm kind of lumping them together in both of those things. And again, things she said about me, other vegans, her recent video, stuff like that. So yeah, so I realize there are fans of theirs watching, and yeah, the first thing I guess is, if you still support Harley specifically, through this whole thing, are you actually familiar with all of the facts? Have you actually watched Eisel's videos and, what Harley has said? Or are you just getting your information through Harley or maybe some other people? I guess that would be the first thing. And then another thing, I think possibly could be contributing, again, this whole, like, they're vegan, so maybe you are able to sweep it under the rug. Maybe they helped you go vegan. Maybe, their diet really works for you or something like that. I get that to some degree. I have a video still on this channel that I did over a year ago, I'm not sure when, but talking about the one benefit that I got out of eating, it was pre-Raw 4, it was when it was 30 bananas a day still. The one benefit that I got out of eating that way was that it essentially helped me end my weight obsession in a very kind of weird way. And you can watch that video. It's short. Again, as I think I say in the video, I wouldn't encourage anyone to eat 30 bananas a day, all raw or Raw 4 or anything like that. But it is a benefit that I got that I can't really deny. And so in a weird way, I am appreciative of that experience and of even Freelee. I mean, she's the reason I did it in the first place. I started eating so much fruit and so many calories. So, but at the same time, I don't idolize, going back to the idolizing thing. I don't think that she's infallible or anything like that. And I don't think that she is beyond criticism. No one is. So yeah, so that maybe that's an issue. Maybe that's something that you're doing that you don't realize that you're doing, that again, you're kind of sweeping these things under the rug and ignoring them because they helped you go vegan, or they changed your life in an immense, invaluable way. That's great. But again, I think in a lot of ways we have to separate the people from the program, so to speak, I guess. I don't know if that's how I want to say that actually, but I think you know what I'm saying. No one's infallible, basically. The last thing, which I think is maybe one of the more important things in this video, again, to fans of Freelee and Durianrider. What if the situation were different? What if what just happened with Harley and Eisel and all the lies and stuff, and calling people shills and fake vegans and stuff like that? What if it wasn't them? What if it was someone you didn't like? What if it was Eisel? What if it were me? Let's be honest. If you're fans of them, you're very, there's a good chance you don't like me so much. What if it were me? What if I were the one saying, calling Durianrider a fake vegan, or making fun of the way he looks, or making fun of the way Freelee looks, or calling her a fake vegan, or accusing them of doing horrible things with no evidence whatsoever, and then encouraging people to find out where they live, and getting the police involved. And if the police can't do anything, well, we'll take it into our own hands. Relatively non-violently, of course. What if that were me? I have a feeling you'd be pretty upset by that. I have a feeling you'd be pretty pissed off by that. So why is it okay when they do it? Finally, I have a quote here, Martin Luther King quote you've probably heard before. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. And I think it's relevant here with regard to, speaking out about stuff, I guess. And, I've talked about this before. I talked about it in a recent video. I can't remember which one, but, I think it's really important for vegans who disagree with this, to speak out against it. I know it seems like drama, but again, I think it's really important to make yourself heard, not just for other vegans, but for non-vegans as well. I think it's really, really important for the perception of veganism to let it be known that there are a lot of us who say, no, this is not okay. I don't care if you're vegan. This is not acceptable behavior. Period. That's it. End of sentence. To make it fairly topical, I think it's similar for, moderate Muslims. I feel the same way, and I'm sure many of them feel the same way, that it's important to make your voice heard, particularly right now, to make it clear that, hey, you know, not all of us are homophobic. Not all of us are pro killing gay people. You know, there was a really lovely thing in Chattanooga in Tennessee where some young Muslims gathered around a mosque and were mourning, you know, the victims. And there's some really nice quotes from a really young girl, too. I'll link in the description, talking about that. But I think it's similar here in terms of perception. I think it's really important for us to, again, just make it clear that we don't agree and that it's unacceptable, whether you're vegan or not. And I do want to bring up, you know, Vegan Gains. Richard, he actually did a video, Durianrider versus Vegan Gains, which was really cool. He was like, yeah, it's not cool what you did and you need to apologize. And I don't know if that was before Harley's video or not. I'm not sure. It might have been. I just saw that today too. So that was really cool that he did that. And then Happy Healthy Vegan, Happy Healthy Vegan, Ryan put out a video as well. You know, he kind of said the same thing. This is just drama, you know, whatever. Again, I disagree. But he did make a comment that I thought was interesting. Something to the effect of, look, we don't feel the need to comment on this. You know, we aren't Durianrider, we aren't Freelee. You know, we don't promote or endorse everything that they say or do. And look, you know, you guys know that this is wrong. And I don't know about that. I think it's safe to assume that a good portion of Ryan and Angie's audience probably are fans of Freelee and Durianrider. You know, it's not just the high carb thing, but a lot of this stuff they promote is the same kind of stuff. And so I think it's safe to assume that a lot of them are fans of Freelee and Durianrider, and they may not know. And they may not know because, again, of all the things I've mentioned, you know, kind of, not to throw young people under the bus, but, you know, younger people may be more susceptible to idolizing these people who have changed their lives for the better. You know, I'm not trying to say it in a demeaning sort of way. I completely understand. I think all of us have experienced that to some degree. But yeah, I don't think they do know. I think it is important, particularly for these channels like Happy Healthy Vegan, you know, that vegan couple. I don't know if they've done a video or not, but these channels that kind of run in the same circles, the same high carb, low fat circles, to speak out and say, yes, this is wrong, and to be very direct about it. I think it's less important for me, you know, again, because my audience is very different, but I still wanted to do it. I still think I found some important things to talk about, maybe. I don't know, maybe you disagree. But I guess that's it. That's where my notes end. So I guess that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a different video. And if you want to subscribe, and thanks again. And I will have the follow-up to the pet ownership video all about feeding animals a vegan diet, particularly cats, coming very soon. So stay tuned for that.